Hi and welcome to this week's Fried AI with me, Billy McLaughlin, where I take the big bad world of AI and tell you what it means for our industry as accountants, bookkeepers and finance professionals. First of all, happy Halloween. There has been some really scary things happening in the world of AI this week, including the AI minister in Albania who is now pregnant with 83 babies. Yeah, I'm not touching that one. We've also seen a bit of a mistake over in the States where they use AI to detect firearms going into schools. And unfortunately, the kid carrying a packet of Doritos, which was mistaken for a weapon, was ultimately arrested before authorities had to apologise. And also on top of that, we've seen Uber over in the States offering $1 to all of their drivers for completing tasks that train AI systems. So that could be taking photographs of locations or doing voice clips, but we're not really sure what they're training. In less scary news though, and the direction of AI, and the reason why I'm so keen and passionate for everybody to be utilising it properly, is that the founder and CEO of Zoom has said that he thinks AI is going to result in a 4-day working week universally across the globe. And when he was asked what he's investing in, he said 3 things. He said AI, AI, and AI. So let's get to it. Starting off with the news that Google Gemini are partnering with Fitbit to create artificial intelligent coaches because of the health data that Fitbit contain. Now, you're probably wondering how this is relevant to the finance sector, but it links really nicely to a LinkedIn post that I saw this week from Max from Dext, all around context. And as finance professionals, who has more data than us on our clients? We have an abundance of information, and realistically, when we're using artificial intelligence to get the best outcome, we always have to have context at the forefront of our minds. So this week, when you're doing a business plan using artificial intelligence or potentially a report for a client, whether it's on their behalf or to deliver to them, please do remember the context that you have to give it in order to get the best response. You could even ask it to give you questions so that when you answer, it can deliver the best results and it knows exactly what you're asking and where you're asking it from. So my first message this week, using that kind of news that these big collaborations are happening, let's use the data we've got and let's really give LLMs and AI the context they need to give us the best results. Next up is for those clients that are using e-commerce and selling online. It is now the time to be having the conversations about how they receive payments. And if they're not using PayPal, could be a good time to introduce it. That's because PayPal are doing an integration with ChatGPT and partnering up. So what they've said is that this will enable them to provide buyer and seller protection as well as dispute resolution. And also they'll be able to take card payments from within ChatGPT. Let's not forget that ChatGPT now has 800 million weekly users, so it's definitely the place to be showing up. There's a trend we're seeing, people moving away from this desperate SEO of showing up on Google and actually looking at AEO, I suppose. Sounds like I'm yodeling. Artificial intelligence optimization. So you want to be showing up now on these large language models. This is something that I can tell you about that you need to be discussing with your clients, but it's something we're going to actually be showing people how to do within the AI Practice Academy. So if you're not a member of the waiting list just yet, please do check out the link below because we're going to be showing you how to do that for your practice and also your clients. The categories that ChatGPT and PayPal have said they will be kind of promoting first are apparel, electronics, home improvements, beauty and fashion. So if you've got any clients in any of those sectors, they're definitely the ones to focus on. On a side note to that, and I guess kind of following on from the data land grab that we discussed last week, something else you're going to see kind of coming to surface is when you go to log on to websites, you usually have the option of log on or using your Gmail account or using a Facebook account. You're going to soon have the option to log in using an OpenAI account, which if you think about means that they know your buying behaviors, they know how you act online, and they're going to be able to market accordingly. Similarly, if you're wanting to market out, you're going to be able to really niche down in the clients or potentially your clients' customers in the way that you want to do. So just something else to look out for in the near future. Last week we discussed ChatGPT Atlas. Well, this week we're going to talk about Microsoft because just 2 days after the ChatGPT launch, they announced their new browser, and it also has that option to discover things between tabs. So they're called journeys, so it will know what's going on in one tab and how that can resonate to another. It's really interesting. I feel like Microsoft probably had this ready to launch and ChatGPT just swooped in and got there first. One of the other things that we've seen Microsoft announced is a little friend called Mico or Mico. I'm not actually sure how it's pronounced. And he's just this little yellow blob, nice and warm, cozy feel that you can ask questions to. Very, very similar to Clippy, which they have agreed is kind of the evolution of him. Proof is, if you have got access to Mico or Mico, there's a little Easter egg there that if you double click on it, he will actually turn into Clippy for you. So the idea is that you've got this warmer friend, this artificial intelligence model there on your desktop, ready to help you whenever you need it. There were 3 other announcements that I wanted to bring to your attention. The first is the collaboration between LLMs. So this is called Co-Pilot groups, and this means that when you're using kind of the Co-Pilot aspect of Microsoft, you can collaborate with your team members. So the idea is, at the moment, I find LLMs are brilliant and they're a great place for you to, in isolation, go through what you want to go through, but it's hard to share that with other people. Well, now up to 32 people within your organization can access the same conversation, which is a great opportunity to do some brainstorming. The second thing I wanted to mention was their enhanced memory. So this will be great if you had a conversation, say, on a specific niche and you wanted to just keep developing that memory over the year. Say, for example, you wanted to track trends, for example. You're having a conversation with that in December about your ice cream van client, and it will remember the conversations you had in the summer when there was a peak. So as an example, in December when sales are low, you're having that discussion, the recommendation might be to close the business down. But if it understands, because it can memorize a little bit more of the data you've given it, it will be more likely to give better recommendations and have more valuable conversations with it. The third thing is connectors. We've spoken about something similar before, but the idea here is that you can connect Copilot to your other apps, and it's not just Microsoft apps. So if you do use Gmail or Google Drive, for example, to receive client information, you can connect that into your Copilot account, which I suppose, again, is going towards that one-stop shop of the software going out and doing the work for you. You're not having to go into one app, pull that down, drag that down, copy and paste, save it to your desktop. You can just connect it all up and you'll have that one big ecosystem. So if you are trialing any of these things, or you have done already, please let me know, because I love to hear all the use cases and hear how you are finding these new announcements. Now back to the browsers just for 1 second, because there's quite a serious message that has come out this week. It's something that's been prevalent for quite a while, but people are now talking about prompt injection attacks. So if you are using some of these browsers that we have spoken about, please do be mindful that these attacks are there, they're happening. And what this means is, when you send the agent off to go and analyze a web page, there can be what they call bad actors. So there can be some malicious messaging within the web browser that the agent could pick up and be almost told to bring back information to that web page, and therefore your agent is essentially getting flip reversed into working for these bad actors. And that's because they don't really have that conscious decision making, they just kind of do as they're told, understandably. Now, Perplexity, who have Comet, have said that they have found a way to identify these in real time, and ChatGPT with their Atlas have said that they've got a logged out mode, which means that when your agent is looking for things on the websites, it cannot be logged into, say, for example, your bookkeeping ledger or anything like that. But then that kind of defeats the object of it doing things for you, because generally you want to be logged into something for it to retrieve the data. Something to be mindful of if it's not working the way you want it to, and also a way of you just to be doing this in a very, very careful manner. The last thing I want to say on the browsers is, if you haven't used Perplexity Pro yet and then had access to Comet, I have a way that you can actually access them for free. So if you use PayPal or O2, there are a few other ways as well. I know certain students, for example, you can actually get 12 months of Perplexity Pro for free. I'm going to have a actual screen recording of this over in the AI Practice Academy LinkedIn group, completely free. Just go and join it and you can do exactly the same, and then give Comet a go. Give it a try, let me know what you think. And finally, does anybody else have FOMO about not being over in the States for Intuit Connect? I definitely do, but thankfully the team have used artificial intelligence in a really smart way to do a summary every single day of the event. Now, reading days 1 and 2, I can see AI is definitely the hot topic. Shock, I know. And also what's interesting is the report is definitely written by AI. I'm going to read you just one sentence which says, participants shared insights on leveraging AI for various purposes, from automating routine tasks to providing real-time financial insights and strategic recommendations. Ugh. Is that not just like buzzword, buzzword, buzzword? Like, those words don't really mean anything. So I love the idea of these AI summaries, and it's given me a great insight, but you can definitely tell artificial intelligence has had an input into reporting on the AI of the conference. Anyway, I hope you had a great time. If you have been over there, I'd love to hear about your experience. And it's great to see that QuickBooks are definitely at the forefront of this development, and knowing that it is a hot topic for accountants and bookkeepers alike. That's everything from me. Please do reach out if there's anything that I've missed, anything you think I should be discussing, and I'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend.